I remember back in '02, I was in school and acting a fool. My soul got saved, my debt had been paid, but still I kept running off with my crew. Sex on my brain and death in my veins. I had a main thing, we stayed up to 2, smoking. Waking and baking, we naked, my body was loving it, soul was hating it. And time after time, our bodies grew close. The girl was so fine. She had a heart, we heard a heartbeat that wasn't hers or mine. The miracle of life had started inside. Ignored the warning signs, suppressed that truth I felt inside. I was just having fun with this. I'm too young for this. I'm thinking me, myself, and I. Should I sacrifice this life to keep my vanity and live nice? But she loves and trusts me so much that whatever I say, she'll probably oblige. But I was too selfish with my time. Scared my dreams were not gonna survive. So I dropped her off at that clinic. That day a part of us died. So, yeah.
And it's true.
It's a true story, yeah. I mean, it's kind of all, young man trying to figure out what I was gonna do with my life. Hadn't finished school, and I had met the Lord, but just was still trying to get my footing in terms of walking with Jesus. And I could tell all kind of, there's so much that happened. Like I literally was in the middle of that relationship. I was feeling the conviction. I felt like God was giving me opportunities to, escape. And, we're doing drugs, we're engaged in sexual activity consistently. And I really, at that time, I thought that I had believed an urban myth that if you consume enough drugs, you will be sterile. And so I just, thought that, we'll never get pregnant because, I was my ignorance at the time. I remember we were both working at a at a call center, and we went out for our smoke break, and she hesitated to smoke the cigarette, and I was just kind of like, what's going on? And that's when she let me inform me, that she was pregnant. And so, it was a really, I will say I was had it not been for the Spirit and who I was suppressing, the conviction of the Spirit with drugs and alcohol, I don't know if I would have felt anything. I was so callous and so hard-hearted that it was almost second nature to say, we're going to get an abortion. And she was actually wrestling with the idea. And I did. I could sense the Lord impressing upon me, like, hey, not okay. But I was like, I'm so self-centered at this point in time and not God-centered at all, that it was just kind of like, let me shut in that. And it wasn't even a question. It was just more of me convincing her that this was the right thing to do. And there's a lot I could. We
were talking a few minutes ago, and the part that was so moving to me was that evidently there are stages along the way for getting breakthroughs about this or getting over it where you were going through some old pictures or something, come to terms with your wife. What happened there that needed to happen in order for you to move forward?
Yeah, so after the abortion, I really pretty much shut it out of my mind and really, literally to the point where, it's shameful, but, I ignored all her calls. I quit dealing with her altogether. The last time I saw her, I remember her being curled up on her bed crying. And I kind of pushed all of it out of my mind. And what I kept were pictures of her. And hindsight 2020, I did it as a memorial in some senses. But, after years down the line, I was going through premarital, and I was getting rid of pictures of all my ex-girlfriends and whatnot to say my mind and my heart is focused on this woman here, and I don't need any reminders of anything. And I came across her picture, and I couldn't throw it away. And my wife was like, just throw it in the trash. And I just broke down, I was like, what in the world?
That was the moment.
Yeah, it just literally broke. The guilt and the remorse and the shame of it all. And I think that was actually the beginning of the healing process for me. So.